everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of Author Talk. In today's episode, we're continuing our series on poetry. Poetry is an expression of the joys and suffering of the human soul, and I hope you're enjoying the beauty of this art form through the talented poets featured in this series. Today's episode features author and poet Kevonne D. Wright. At the young age of 17, Kevonne's first book of poetry, Majestic Tales, was featured on News 5 in Cleveland, Ohio. In 2023, Kevonne was interviewed by PBS's City Centric Spotlight, highlighting his life growing up in Canton, Ohio, and how his poetry evolved from his childhood hometown and his experiences there. Kevonne's poetry is reflective and mature, showcasing a depth not often found in someone so young. In his words, you will find passion and profound pain, but you will also find a call to hope. I'm excited for you to meet Kevonne and to hear selections of his insightful poetry. So let's welcome Kevonne. So welcome, Kevonne. How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. So to begin, tell us a little bit about your life story, where you grew up and your family and what you're doing in life now.
I'm from Canton, Ohio. I grew up on the southwest side of Canton, Ohio.
Okay.
I graduated from Canton McKinley, but I went to Timken Early College for half of it, high school. But I dropped out during COVID and did the culinary part at McKinley. I just didn't feel like I wanted to do the online course. The online version of college, it wasn't the funnest. Especially it wasn't the best. So I did culinary instead. That was another dream of mine. So I pursued culinary instead. It was pretty fun too. We got to eat a lot too, so that was pretty fun.
That would be awesome. I'd love that. So you're like chef material, huh?
Yep, my grandpa actually owned a restaurant back in the day in Canton.
Oh, really? What was the name of it?
It was called Mr. G's Chicken and More.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't read that in any of your bios, so.
Yep. His name was George Smith. So it was
okay, that's
cool.
really neat.
Yeah.
What years did he have the restaurant open?
I'm not sure. I didn't know he had it probably like about 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago.
Okay. All right. So getting into your poetry career, what first drew you to write poetry? What happened in your life that drew you toward writing poetry?
I mean, the first real poem I can really remember is when I was writing I don't know if it was like freshman year or it was like 8th grade year, but I was fairly young and it was about my mom. I was mad at my mom at the time because I think she took my phone or something.
Oh.
And it was something crazy. So I wrote like a poem about how I was basically feeling or whatever. And it was, I forget what it was called, but it was one of my favorite poems, honestly. But I had wrote it about her and then she read it and then I got like a blank stare and then I kind of felt bad afterwards. So then I wrote another one and it was called The Apology. And that one was pretty good too. Yeah. So they was kind of dual poems of each other. They both was really good. And then I apologized basically too because then I sat back and thought about it. I'm like, that's not fair because I guess she had a valid reason to give me a punishment basically. So
right.
I kind of had to sit back and be mature about the situation. But that's kind of where the poetry stems from. And then I think I had shared it with my teachers or whatever. And then I think just ever since then, I just kind of figured out like I was good at expressing myself through poetry. So I just kept on doing it every time I just feel like a strong emotion or something, or one of my friends would tell me about something they was going through. I would try to convey it into like a poem because it was like a shorter version to explain it or something my way.
So did that poetry that you wrote about, getting in trouble and then apologizing, did that just kind of come out of the blue or did you write when you were younger, like for school assignments?
Yeah, I was always a great writer. Like I always took advanced classes and, I always scored high in all my classes. So writing was always one of my things. Like I think I took college comp in 10th grade and I Yeah, I used to write the essays in like in the same day that they were due sometimes. Like I would just have to skim the book. So writing was always my thing. But I always liked math more, and I never understood why. I think I liked the math because it gave me more of a challenge. Writing was sometimes boring. But the best thing
Okay.
about writing I used to enjoy the most was trying to convince somebody of something or writing something that was like trying to create like an image in somebody's head. And when I
Yeah.
think about it, my poetry kind of reflects that. So
Right. That gives you that internal image.
yeah, so that's kind of how I realized like, okay, I'm not so bad at writing after all. So I just kind of kept going with it.
Well, definitely not, because the News 5 Cleveland
Yeah,
episode that I saw with you on it with some of your teachers, they were so impressed by
yeah.
your depth for your age. So how did that all come about in your writing in high school? Was that because of a class
It
or
was
just
I think what happened was I think I had showed my English teacher because I was in like college comp 2 or 1. I think like I said, 11th grade. And I had showed her my poetry or something. No, yeah, no, no, no. It was my 10th grade teacher. It was 11th or 10th grade, I forget, but it was like my 11th grade teacher, I think. But I had showed her my English and she was like, "It's so beautiful." And we was reading and stuff in class and stuff, and I was showing her this was all during COVID. And then when I got to 12th grade, I had another English teacher, and that was my second comp teacher. And she had read it. And she was like, "This is really good." And then she recommended me to another English teacher in the school that had wrote his own book. And then he had showed me
wow.
how to do the publishing on my own. And after I
Okay.
forgot to self-publish my own thing, it kind of just grabs a lot of attention.
So I'm going to hold this up. Majestic Tales
Yeah.
was your first book, and that's
That
the
was
one
my
your
first book.
teacher
Yep. That was the one that
helped
he
you with.
helped me. Yep.
What's the name of that teacher?
Uh, oh my,
Uh,
I can't even think of his name.
okay.
But
I
I
know
got his face in my head.
you're in an interview, so put you on the spot. But
Yeah.
so my next question was, did you have mentors in high school that helped you? So he was obviously one of those
Yeah,
mentors.
he was one of the ones that helped me get my writing out of there. I kind of just developed my writing on my own though, like through my own I guess experiences as I got mature with life, expanding my
Mm,
vocabulary and stuff like that.
right.
My writing kind of advanced and evolved on its own, based on my
Okay.
perspective changing and stuff like that.
Yeah, age will do that.
Yeah, definitely.
And
So
and life experience takes you deep. But I mean, I'm just really impressed. And I talked about this in the intro with the depth of your poetry with how
yeah,
young you are. Because how old are you now?
I'm only 22. I just turned 22.
22.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so when I read some of your selections later for our viewers, I think they'll see what I'm talking about as
yeah,
far as maturity and depth. That's amazing. So you were in high school when this came about, and
yep.
then
17.
the News 5 Cleveland spot. How did your peers receive your poetry?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like, feeling like the top guy, but it was like in a different way because it was for like academics. A lot of people don't get to that level of recognition for something like that or creating something
Uh-huh.
of their own, which was kind of a cool feeling. And I feel like if I had more confidence back then, I could have did way more with it. Like I wish I had confidence. That was kind of my only barrier when it came to myself. Like I just was not confident and I couldn't get over that hump for the longest. And it took me to after high school to like develop on my own and all that to
Mm-hmm.
finally get that, I guess that piece that I was missing you know what I'm saying, when that moment came to me.
Well, I think that's pretty typical of all writers, really, no
Yeah.
matter what their age. Like, I think a lot of writers struggle with confidence. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the term imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
but it's like, I'm really not a writer, but you are a writer, but you feel like
Yeah.
you're not.
That's why
So,
I said it's kind of like you just like I don't even know what I'm supposed to say, but I don't know. And my writing is more so. It's like it's for myself, but it's more so like I want it to be like healing to other people that read it too. Sometimes
right, right.
I want them to find a solution, and that's kind of why when I wrote my second book, I made it more like a journal setup too, so you could write about how you was feeling inside of
I
the book.
loved that. I love that you did that. And for our viewers, this is Kevonne's second book, Crescent Kisses. I
Yeah.
love that title.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what is one of the inspirations for your poetry?
I would say the moon. Like I resonate with the darkness of like the night and like just that feeling.
I read that somewhere, and I think that was really neat to me. So what is it about the moon? I mean, you mentioned the darkness, but what about the moon itself inspires you to write poetry?
It's just like it's so quiet. I feel like safe. And I used to walk a lot. Like I used to walk to work. Like I was really independent, self-reliant type of person growing up. And I always had to depend on myself. So every time I used to walk at night, I would just pay attention to like my surroundings, my scenes, staying on high alert, of course, because it's late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And the moon was just always there shining bright in the star, shining bright in the sky no matter what day, And it was just one of those things you would look up to when I just find myself talking to him, and just venting to it about like life or whatever. And just listening to everything. So I kind of just feel like I just resonate with the night way easier. And on my
Right.
birthday was in December too, so
Oh, well, that makes sense.
dark, cold, so that's just kind of my vibe all the time.
So there is a serenity about the moon. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just you mentioned the word quiet, like just that quiet and peacefulness and
real peaceful.
Right. I can see why you were drawn to that. Does anybody else in your family write?
Nah, I can't. I don't know anybody that writes. Like I have a lot of talented people, like very like smart people, like intelligent wise. I have a cousin that could draw and play 5 instruments, and she could,
Wow.
draw pretty well. So I got like people that's really talented in that area, but I don't think I know anybody that's a writer. Like, I got an uncle that's a really good graphic designer. So like art is kind of our thing, but we just, I guess, smart too. So I just kind of evolved with it with the writing part.
So do you ever kind of just stand back in amazement when you write something and think, where did that come from?
Yeah, I come back to it sometimes and read my own poetry like, that was good. That was a good line right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely find myself being my own fan a lot. Cause like, I'd be
That's
like,
awesome.
that was the best way I could have put that, and sometimes I'd be thinking about adding to it, but then I'd be like, that was just the perfect way to end it. Like sometimes you just gotta end it. Some stuff just is just short, crisp, and with a, nice little scent, it ain't gotta be long and all that. Sometimes you just need to be quick and subtle.
Yeah, I noticed that in reading your poetry that you have some that are very brief and then you have some really long poetry as well, which just whatever strikes you at that moment.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, it's whatever I feel like the story needs. Sometimes I feel like I want you to be left with a question or a thought. I don't want you to have the answer in it. I just want you to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of my intention behind the poem.
And I love too that I read somewhere when I was, doing research on you, that you really want your poetry to affect other people.
Yeah.
You want it to be healing, to make them think and, that kind of thing. And I think that's a soul of a poet, that they just don't want it to sit within themselves. They want it to go out into the world and mean something to people.
Yeah, exactly. I want you to like, not only me, I want you to see how I'm feeling, but I want to see if it's a different way to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I the only one feeling it this way, or how would you perceive my situation? Because we can that's what I really believe through conversation. We can heal each other. I feel like after a good conversation with somebody, it's like poetry sometimes. Everything is just said so perfectly to where you're like, wow, I just found so much clarity in that conversation. And that's kind of how I want to leave you with the poem. You finding clarity with that poem. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, it couldn't have been better said.
Right. And I'm a really strong believer that we need to have conversation, like you mentioned, and that we need to know each other's life stories and understand the different backgrounds that we come from. And if we can understand those things, I think there can be a greater peace between people. And poetry is an amazing vehicle for that.
For sure.
Just an amazing vehicle.
For sure.
So I want to read a few of your selections. So I'm going to read them. And like I said I was interviewing Kat Russell, who is a poet,
Yeah.
and I hope I do it justice by how I read it. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then after I finish, I'm going to ask you for your thoughts on it, what inspired it, and, what you want people to get out of it.
Yeah.
So this one is called Reflections in the Rivers of Pain. Dangerous, a target marked unseen. Creatures lurk, testing if my heart is truly clean. Vicious winds howl through stormy nights, stirring emotions buried deep from sight. The trees dance to my mournful cries, while the owls hoot, questioning why. Leeches drain me, sucking me dry, as snakes' bites spread venomous lies. They call me beautiful, yet unknown, a target painted, but I stand alone. A sickened creature, fallen from grace, waiting for the storm to slow its pace. Crickets whisper, emotions are weak, as my last drops of blood slowly leak. Yet hope revives, a flicker of light. I begin to float, life etched in the boat's sight. Drifting down a river of forgotten dreams, flashbacks of who I once was, it seems. The annoying kid in the classroom's glare, the outcast at events, no one to care. Birds chirp a song of quiet repentance, wondering when the Lord's deliverance will come to mend this fractured soul, processing pain that's hard to control. Pushing myself down the river's flow, haunted by memories of long ago. December brings the worst of days. On the 20th, I remember the one who strayed. Abandoned, left with pain to bear, I search for peace in the winter's cold air. But hope lingers still, a light in the storm, as I navigate through the pain I've worn. That last line just got me. As I navigate through the pain I've worn, I just
Yeah.
like clothes. It's something you
Yeah.
wear, but it's pain.
Yeah.
That was just beautiful.
Yeah.
So give
Yeah.
me some background on that.
Well, that poem was really more about like my dad. Obviously, it mentioned my birthday, December 20th.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was about basically how my dad wasn't around, and basically how navigating life was having an identity crisis, not knowing who you is. You know what I'm saying? Trying to fit in somewhere, the oddball in the classroom. Feeling alone, like feel like you standing out, no one to come in your corner to tell you it's gonna be all right. And it's just like life will come at you in every different way. Wind, storms, different peers. It's not just one thing. It's not just one antagonist in the story when it comes to this life stuff. So it's just kind of, you gotta pick yourself up and try to find it on your own. Find your way on your own at the end of the day, because trying to be a victim isn't gonna do anything for you. When it comes down to it. So that's kind of how I had to try to end that story, because at the end of the day, I could have made that my life. I could have made me being a fatherless kid my whole identity. And that's why I felt like a wounded soldier. I felt like I was going to bleed out. I felt like life was going to take me and just carry me down the river and let me decay with the rest of the fish at the bottom of the sea. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I was feeling at the point. Like, I felt like, how am I going to swim upstream? How am I going to find the way? And I found the lifeboat. I found poetry. I found, friends, and they carried me up the river. They was my sanction, so that's kind of what the representation was with all of that. The boat was just the things I learned, and then me being a role instead of me having to paddle, me assigning myself with that duty of being the momentum was just me having that willpower to keep on going. You know what I'm saying? And I had to find that within myself.
And see, you're taking all those words you're telling me right now and that emotion and putting it into something so articulate, so beautiful, so much metaphor.
Yeah.
So just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. All right, so I want to read one from your first book, Majestic Tales. And again, I hope I do it justice. This one is called The Land of the Free. Rain pours, thunder roars. In the distance, I witness war. Brave soldiers cry, with no tears left in their eyes. Hard to have hope when we are seen as a joke. Such inequality, we still come in contact with poverty. Puddles splash, puddles sway, as we run from the police day to day. Seen as less, but hope to be seen as more. Blinded by their social status, they just ignore. Brave soldiers are woke, they will not allow any more snores. Whether you like it or not, we are facing another civil war. Black on black crimes doesn't help the sunshine, just creates more funerals and dark times. Killing my own color is like killing a brother. Yet I still hear the thunder when I sleep at night, clutching till they die or in the system where they reside. Armed with the pigment black, we run or risk getting our skulls cracked. Chasing dreams could put you under, stuck in a cycle we can't break. 'Cause when we make it out, the greed stops us from giving back. But this is just America, the land of the enslaved, driven by the idea of being free, is what created this greed. Wow.
Yeah, boy, that was a good one. That was a good one. I like that
Wow.
one. Yeah.
So tell me about that one.
That was just during, the famous 2020 year, when the Black Lives Matter movement was going on, COVID, LGBTQT, all that police retaliation.
George Floyd.
Yeah, all that fun stuff. And I just feel like I would have did an injustice if I ain't right about it, So I had to just kind of get my perspective on it all. It's kind of easy to point the finger at, the person doing wrong, but we all got a hand in playing this.
Right.
It's just like, we want to scream, police is bad and all this, but we commit crimes, against ourselves. And it's just like, we got to take accountability. It starts, within ourselves. It starts other places than just the government. At the end of the day,
well,
they're going to do what they.
Right. And I think you incorporated both sides of it so well. You wove it together and told a story, like you said, of inequality and justice, but then yet accountability too.
Yeah, accountability too, because I feel like I can't just say I like with everything I do. Like I like to be thorough with everything. So in order for that to be, I would have to be able to see both sides very clearly. So it's not I can't walk around and scream and preach one side and not act like I don't understand the other one. So
right.
My whole goal is to help each other see each other's side. Because when we could do that, that's when change is created. You know what I'm saying? In my eyes. Once we both can see where we both going wrong, and then we find that space in between to actually do it right. So
I love that space in between where we do it right.
When we do it right, that's kind of more important than anything. So I wasn't pointing a finger. I was just addressing what was going on. It was just more of it's time to wake up. And that's kind of what I said in there. It's just time to wake up. If we gonna go in the streets, we gotta start addressing other areas in our communities. If we gonna go out there and do all this, let's do something more with a longer term, not just a short term solution. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Things gotta be done on a long term scale, not a short term scale.
I think that when you said woke, and you used it in the sense of awaken.
Yeah.
And so like a play on words,
Yeah.
Because we all know how woke is used, and then you have that sense of awakening too. So I thought that was really skillful how you use that. Yeah,
Appreciate
very skillful. So because you're obviously a really mature young man and have a lot of provocative thought going on in your head, in your
Yeah.
mind. So who's spoken into your life to help with that? Or was that just entirely
It
just
was
who you
it.
are?
It's kind of who I am, to be honest. I mean,
Okay.
I'm a very observant guy, so I kind of pick up on things. I kind of try to
Mm,
learn. I self-criticize a lot.
mm,
I'm a self-evolving person. Like, I like to be better. Like I said, I like to be
mm.
thorough. And in order for me to be thorough, I have to be truthful and honest with myself at all times. And I have to address issues in myself. I can't depend on someone else to tell me my flaws. I can't
Right.
depend on somebody else to correct me. I gotta hold myself accountable. And in order for me to do that, I try to see every side of every situation if I can. I try to be understanding. I try to listen to other people's stories in their lives. That's kind of where, like I said, some of my poetry ain't even about me. I
Mm-hmm.
might have a piece, or I might have felt that way in the past in a similar situation, but that's their story. I'm just conveying it. You know what I'm
So
saying? And that's
you're observing it and then conveying it.
exactly. And then I'll send it back to them, and they'll be like, wow, you could have put it, you know what I'm saying? And it was situations like that. That's kind of where I really started to feel like I understand people on a deeper level than most people do. So I
Right.
just kind of use that to my advantage, and that's kind of how I got great friendships and lasting relationships with people, because I'm actually here to listen.
Right. That's wonderful. And I think about poets like Maya Angelou and Amanda Gorman, and
Yeah,
just both I feel like are super observant, like you're
yeah,
saying you are, looking at life, looking at the country, looking at the world, looking at
hmm
pain,
yeah,
all those kinds of things. And so, you brought that up about you're a very observant person, and that just
yeah.
seems to be essential to a poet.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also important to understand the language of the people you are speaking to. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People, like, we all people, but we all speak different languages. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
some people want to help, but they speak with like such a language that can be condescending, or
Mm,
not communicated properly to the next person. Sometimes, like, I'm not saying like people are less intelligent, but sometimes you gotta talk in a way to most people can't. A more common person can understand. Like, they don't want to talk in circles or a
mm-hmm.
high intellect conversation all day. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you got to be able to adjust, code switch. That's what they say. But I feel like it's important to know the community you talking to,
Yes, exactly.
because
And
you can talk all day and never get the message across.
right, right. Meeting people where they are, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So, what are your hopes for your writing career?
I
What?
really do want to get back into it. I've been like trying to figure out like how do I even attack it now? The next step
Mm-hmm.
for, because I got like a few projects, like I said, I've been working on. I got like three children's books. I
Really,
got, yeah, for my
that's
kids and my niece.
awesome.
Yeah, I said I might as well do something like that. I really got to get the illustration part done, and then I got some I got like a nonfiction book about like high school or whatever, about the journey through that, and then I want to, like I said, probably write another poetry book, do something like a poetry vlog page on Instagram. I had one actually. I just stopped posting on it. It's called Luniverse on Instagram. I actually got to start like write more on it.
Yep, I saw
But
that. So
but yeah,
it's so you have children, right?
yeah. I got three boys.
Okay. So it's hard to find time to write.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. But I got a lot to write about though. Like, I got like a lot of inspiration. That's the crazy part.
Right, right. I know I didn't start really writing till I was 40, and
Yeah,
part of that were my personal hangups, but then I was a mother of four, so
yeah,
that
yeah.
so
I
I
definitely can't lose it. Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from, but that's amazing. So you have some children's books in the works, a
yeah,
nonfiction book, more
yeah,
poetry.
yeah,
So great things coming from Kevonne Wright.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
def
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Thank you. I
and I
appreciate you.
and I hope a lot of other people, watching this will become fans as well and really support your writing. So keep with it, because you
Yeah,
have so much to offer. You really do.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much.
So tell our viewers where they can find Majestic Tales and Crescent Kisses.
You can find Majestic Tales on lulu.com. That's the book we're self-published at. And then you can find Crescent Kisses on Amazon.
Yes. Found it on Amazon.
Yeah, you can find that on Amazon. I had a hard time finding it, but it's on there. I just gotta figure out.
I found it. I found it easy. So
okay.
Yeah. So what about social media? Can you tell our viewers where to find you on social media?
My Facebook is Kevonne Wright, Kevonne Wrighc. Like I said, I have a poetry page on Instagram. It's lunar.verse on Instagram. Like I said, I'm gonna get that back up and running soon. I gotta get my MacBook back because when I have my MacBook, I actually did a lot more writing, more different stuff.
Oh, same here. I have that, and that's amazing because you can carry it anywhere. You get inspiration. You write something.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like the best gift I ever got.
It's the best thing. Yeah, it's definitely the best thing. Like I said, and I would definitely love to do like a page or something because when I had my page, them followers that I got on there, I gained them in like 2 weeks. And it was like, I'm like, that's pretty good. Like, I think if I could have kept going for like the last 5 years, could have been a nice page.
Yeah. Well, you've been kind of busy raising boys.
Yeah. They oh man, they got the energy and Sonic.
I know. I have 3 boys and a girl, so I know what you mean about that energy.
I look like I'm having the same odds as you.
I feel you.
Oh, yeah.
So, the Instagram account is Luniverse, so I assume that's because of the moon, right?
Yep. I definitely love the moon. Like I even got a clothing brand, and it's the meaning is behind the moon. I just love the moon. I got the moon. I got tattoos of the moon on me. I just love the moon.
So wait a minute. Did you just say you have a clothing line?
Yeah, I have a clothing line too that I actually designed too on myself.
What?
And yeah, I'm working on that too. I'll probably be dropping some work. I'll probably be dropping some this summer too. It's called Majestic Tales.
Wow. So you're like Mr. Artsy.
Yeah, I have a very creative line. I even make music, so I do a lot.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, I try to do everything I possibly can do so my sons can see that. They're like, my daddy do everything. So I try to do a little bit of everything, and I just want to, I want to buckle down on one thing for once,
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned in the first poem about your dad and him leaving, and look at you being responsible and doing something to inspire your sons and show them that kind of manliness and fatherhood. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to close out, my last question for you is, what is your best advice for those who would want to pursue writing poetry? What advice would you offer them?
I think whenever you like writing poetry, I think the main thing is to be like truthful. You know what I'm saying? Just write about how you feeling. Just kind of let the words flow out. Relax. Don't force it. It's not one of those things you should force. It's something that just start to flow. And as time go, you'll get better with your vocabulary. If you can't find the right word, use a thesaurus. You know what I'm saying? Or something don't flow right, a thesaurus or dictionary. Understand your feelings better. I feel like poetry allows you to do that because you got to think about, you know what I'm saying? What does this feeling mean that I'm feeling right now? How do I say this in feeling? So I think when you write in poetry, I really understand how you feeling.
That's really good advice because I think a lot of people, because you're saying just let it flow. I think a lot of people try to mimic other writers.
Nah.
And it's not just, you got to have your own voice.
You got to have your own voice. And that's kind of why like a lot of people can't make it when it comes to poetry or just art in general. Art is one of those things that got to be original. When you mimic it, it's not the same.
Right.
That it has to be an original thought, an original feeling. Like obviously we all feel feelings of pain, but it's a different type of pain, and it's like a different perspective. And your perspective was what's unique. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do. You are unique due to your perspective of how you see things, and no one will be able to see your way in a way that you're the only one that can see your way the way you see it identical. You know what I'm saying? So when you share that to the world, it offers a whole different level, you know?
Right. I interviewed a poet by the name of Dwight Parrish,
Yeah.
and we were talking about the fact that every soul is different. So every poem that comes from a different soul is going to be unique. And he was talking about the fact that, you know, he grew up in Canton during a time when it was very segregated. And he was saying somebody could have lived in my same neighborhood and write differently than me. Because even in that same neighborhood, their experience would have been different than his.
And that's what I mean. Yep. And that's what I mean. And that a different experience can help a different person. Even though we're in the same neighborhood, my experience might help a whole different entire group because the way I conveyed it. And that's why I feel like it's important when we share our stories, because that's what I mean. It can be healing. You know what I'm saying? You might find somebody that see something so similar to you. It might be healing to know that they got through it, or they going through it too, and they're still getting through it. And it's like you don't feel alone. And that's kind of why the people that have the courage to stand up to like change and different things that's going on in life or anything, people that just got the courage to stand up are so powerful people, because they the people that's willing to voice the fact what they going through. You know, they feeling their voice, that feeling like, I'm upset. You know, I don't like this. You know, that guy that raised his hand in class, he might be scared too, of course, what people think. But the fact that he raised his hand, showing you that he's not going to let fear take over that, you know, his feelings, you know. So I feel that's why I feel like it's important to just move with confidence and just without fear, you know what I'm saying? Move with clarity and just let them feelings flow.
Right. And how you talked about bringing healing. And when I read that last line in the poem about your dad, about the pain you've worn, I mean, that just kind of like seared my soul. And, you know, I felt that because I've, you know, had experiences in my life, but I never had those words. And you had the words that articulated even my experience. And I did feel less alone. I thought there's someone out here who understands what it's like to have pain like a shroud, like you wear it. You know, so that spoke to me. That was healing to me. I did feel less alone in the world. So that is the beauty of poetry. And so I want you to know your poetry is touching people. So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I really want you to fight the good fight and keep writing. You know, I know it's hard, like I said, when you have children and you're young and everything, but you have a lot to say to the world and bring to the world.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Debbie.
I appreciate you too. So
definitely
thank
got me
you.
back about the show.
Good. I'm glad. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I hope that everybody watching will on Lulu look up Majestic Tales, on Amazon Crescent Kisses, find you on Instagram, on Luniverse, and everyone just dive into Kevonne's poetry. It is beautiful, it's insightful, it's wise, and it will bring joy to your soul. So thank you so much, Kevonne.
Yeah, have a nice night.